My friend, my boyfriend's half-sister, and I drove down from our hometown to visit friends, and were on our way back home in a beat-up little car. This thing had engine problems, overheating issues, ignition failures, and was constantly falling apart. More than once, it had just stalled or stopped working in the middle of the street. But my friend thought we'd be fine since it hadn't given us any trouble earlier. It was a little past midnight, about an hour away from home. The road was empty, surrounded by dense woods on every side. No streetlights, no moon. I could barely see past the windshield because of my terrible vision. My depth perception was awful, but I could usually make out lights and other cars when they passed. We were driving down a narrow, hilly road, and as we descended, the car made a strange sound. My friend started braking, and as we reached the bottom, the car quit. She swore, turned on the hazard lights, and we both got out. Smoke billowed from under the hood. We stood there for at least 45 minutes before realizing it was beyond fixing. We needed a tow. This was before smartphones, so we had no GPS or quick internet search options. I decided to call my boyfriend to come pick us up, and we suggested we get the car towed in the morning. We agreed, but when I pulled out my phone, no service. None of us had a signal. We held our phones up, desperate, but got nothing. The woods were thick, the hills high. I figured the trees were blocking the signal. I told them to wait by the car while I walked up the hill. We had just come down, holding my phone out, hoping for a signal. I walked further, reaching the top, where I could no longer see the car. Still nothing. Frustrated, I got the idea to climb a tree, hoping for a better signal. Not my brightest moment, but I was desperate. I found a tree with low branches and climbed. Midway up, my pack of cigarettes slipped out of my pocket. Annoyed, I'd figure I'd grab them later. Near the top, I finally got a signal and called my boyfriend. After a few tries, he answered, very groggy and very pissed. But I explained the situation. He said he was on the way and told me to get back to the car. He would chew me out for climbing the tree in the dark with my bad depth perception, but I assured him I was fine. Hung up and started climbing down. As I reached for a branch, my hand landed in sap. I groaned and stopped to wipe it off, and that's when I heard it. A swish, swish, swish. It was a swishing noise like fabric rubbing together. A sound fast-moving coming from below. I froze. The leaf shuffled. Some twigs snapped. Then silence. Whatever it was had stopped right under my tree. I clutched the branches, barely taking a breath. After a moment, the sound resumed, this time moving away deeper into the woods. I waited until I could no longer hear it, then started my climb down, and jumped to the ground once I was low enough. I groped around the ground for my cigarettes, but couldn't find them. Deciding I've had enough, I hurried back to the road. When I reached the bottom of the hill, the car hazard lights were off, and my friends were inside with the doors locked. As I approached, one of them cracked the window, whispering frantically, "Where the hell were you?" I started to explain, but the other shouted, "Get in the car." I didn't argue. Once inside, they locked the doors. They were visibly shaken. I demanded to know what was going on. One of them told me that shortly after I went up the hill, a strange man emerged from the woods and ran in a bizarre, almost unnatural way, straight up the hill after me. They had shut the lights off and hidden in the car, terrified he had taken me. I felt sick. If I hadn't stopped to wipe off the sap, I might have climbed down at that exact moment. He arrived beneath that tree. We sat in silence, waiting. Every passing second felt agonizing. Then one of them whispered, "Oh my God," and started to cry. A silhouette approached through the darkness, and then we heard it. Swish, swish, swish. A hellish sound I'll never forget. The sound stopped right outside the car. A shadow loomed at the window, then a face pressed against the glass. Nobody screamed, we just stared. He was tall, thin. His face was unnervingly plain, average features, short dark hair, pale skin, no wild grin, no glaring eyes, just a man. But his presence was wrong. He wore corduroy pants, the source of that god-awful noise, and an oversized sweater with sleeves too long for his arms, the fabric flopping as he moved. We thought he would leave, but instead he stepped in front of the headlights, as if blocking us from escape. Then started moving in an erratic pattern. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, circling the car like some kind of twisted ritual. The swishing sound matched exactly what I heard in the woods. I mustered my courage and spoke. "Hey man, can you stop? You're really freaking us out." He froze, then turned to look at me. Slowly, he smiled, then vanished into the darkness. We barely had time to process it when one of my friends gasped, "He's back." He was on one side of the road now, clutching a large tree branch with his sweater-covered hands. The noise started again. Swish, swish, plonk. He ran forward and smacked my window with the branch, backed up, and did it again, over and over. Then, headlights. My boyfriend and his brother arrived. My friend began blaring the horn and flashing the lights, relief washing over us as they got out of the car. They were both tall, towering, imposing figures. Surely this would make the man run. But Corduroy didn't run. As my boyfriend walked toward him, he just stood there, branch in hand, staring. His brother reached our car and told us to get out. Just as we did, Corduroy took 2 steps back, 1 step forward, and then he grinned. Before we knew it, he bolted into the woods. So, to whoever you are, and whatever motivated you to stalk and attack a group of stranded women on the side of the road, one thing is certain: I hope we never meet again. The story is absolutely terrifying. That being said, I do find myself questioning a few of the details. Like when someone presses their face to the glass and no one screamed. Despite being in a very emotional state, once you're emotional, it's very hard to control your urges. Most people in a situation that is terrifying, the urge is to scream. So I don't entirely buy the fact that they didn't scream. Also, when she asked, "What are you doing?" that reaction doesn't seem entirely genuine to me. The reason being is if you're truly scared, like you portrayed in the story, you're not trying to bring any unwanted attention to yourself. So there again, it makes for the story to be great and scary, but, people often look back on traumatic experiences and convince themselves they did more to stop whatever was happening in that situation than they actually did. Regardless of my thoughts though, the story remains chilling. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. If you'd like to support even further, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you have your own scary story you'd like to hear narrated, drop a comment below and let me know. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. But as always, stay safe.